Thanks a lot for coming in.
Good morning, happy to be here.
Something about this community appeals to you?
This is a wonderful place to live.
For Kelowna Now, this is Camp Mulgat.
And we're joined by Aden Lee Withers, who just received a settlement from the RCMP after that infamous interview that many of us saw, where you were 17 at the time, complaining of a sexual assault, and the way you were spoken to by that RCMP member. Well, it became coast to coast famous for a terrible way to handle an interview like that. Can you take yourself back to that time and actually relive that interview, how you were feeling at that time?
I do that every day, usually. As a reminder, when I take my medications in the morning, I'm always reminded of that event and the impact it's had on me. I feel much more empowered now than I did back then, for sure.
So this settlement you received, which I take it there's a confidentiality clause here. You're not allowed to tell us exactly what the settlement was, but it was a sizable settlement, I take it, that acknowledged that this wasn't right. You're able to buy a house, I understand. So
I'm hoping to, yeah.
Right. So we can do the math. This was not chump change that they offered up.
No.
But it's just money in the end.
It doesn't replace the experience that I went through. And you can't put a dollar amount on trauma, really. And because it will impact you for the rest of your life.
Right. So this happened back in 2012. We all saw that interview years later. And then it was at that point that then you decided that you should go forward and actually sue for what you had gone through. Tell me about how you got to the point where you felt, no, I'm not going to just suffer the after effects of this. I'm taking this on.
Well, actually, I didn't even know what happened to me was wrong in the beginning. I didn't know. For years, I just lived with not telling people I was raped, because telling people I was raped but no charges ever came of it, and being charged in the end with public mischief just doesn't sound believable. So I went for years without telling anyone, and then one day, offhandedly, when I was reporting something else to my lawyer, Michael Patterson, I mentioned this incident to him, and he couldn't believe what happened. So he went and accessed the videos, and it was much worse than we had both originally thought.
It does amaze me that this RCMP member could conduct himself in that way, knowing that it's being recorded. You know, it amazes me that he would conduct himself in that way in the first place, but it seemed to signal to me that that sort of an interview was acceptable with the people who might look at that video, also at the RCMP.
I found myself questioning too, because I know a lot of cases are reviewed, like the videos and stuff, so I found myself questioning whether or not they really actually reviewed my case as thoroughly as they should have. And I found myself thinking, well, who could watch this and not get a reaction out of it, you know?
Right. So you went through this whole process that wound up with this settlement. As you were dealing with the police along the way, did you get the feeling that the problems that how you were handled shows us that they were being looked at properly, and that this case might bring about change?
I was hoping that it would bring about change. I know from people coming forward to me and coming forward to my lawyer that I know quite a number of people have come through and decided that they're not taking it anymore either, so that's been wonderful.
Right. And while your case has been getting to the stage that it now has with a settlement, at the same time, we have these facts emerging a while back that the Kelowna RCMP were managing to send some 40% of sexual assault cases out the door, calling them unfounded. We're expecting the results now of some review that's taken place locally and nationally into how the RCMP locally have handled those cases. It all is kind of dovetailing, combining all of that. Are you hopeful that things will be different going forward?
I know that a lot of RCMP officers will be conducting themselves in a more professional manner now, and I know I've spoken indirectly to some RCMP members, and I've been supported by a number of them. Now, I'm not going to say the system is perfect and that you're going to get your desired outcome, but I still would encourage people to go forward and report their cases.
Yes, there is a fear there, isn't there, that people would, if they look at that interview and they're wondering what to do after something's happened to them, and that could scare them off. Mm-hmm. So you're reaching out to them saying, no, you should take it forward. I guess it's an individual thing, but if you're feeling that you can, that you should.
Absolutely. Even just reporting, you don't have to report directly to the police. You can report it to an agency such as the Elizabeth Fry Society, who will then take your concerns to the police and help you report for you.
All right. So I take it that this is something that you carry through life, regardless of this settlement, right? It's not something you can sort of turn your back on. Mm-hmm. But it is a new page for you. What happens now? What do you do going forward? Having a little bit of money in your pocket, it gives you few opportunities. What do you do with your life now?
I'm hoping to work and go back to school and go into advocacy work for the people who are unfounded and for Indigenous people.
Right. So you're going to be seeking education in these areas?
Mm-hmm. Hopefully to become a lawyer or a social worker of some sorts. I just want to, I look up to people like Dr. Cindy Blackstock, and I just want to work and do the same kind of advocacy work that they do. And I'm hoping to achieve that by furthering my education.
Right. It sounds like you might ultimately be able to protect other young women from going through what you had to go through.
Yeah, that's my ultimate goal, is to keep other people from going through what I went through and from having to carry that trauma, and helping them take their trauma and hopefully get to the place I got. Right. I'm getting to.
All right. Aden Lee Withers, thanks for coming in and talking to us about it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and thank you for watching Kelowna Now.